Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of No ID Vibes. This is season 4. I have some heavy hitters coming in here. I have a talented young man here, a comedian, actor, thespian, creative, content creator. He's part of Lemon Pepper Season, who I refer to as the Wu-Tang of improv comedy because there's so many personalities, but they work as one unit. Enver Sidddiky.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
All right, how you been, bro?
Dude, it's been a wild couple of years since we met. As far as all the things that have happened because of how we met.
It's facts. We met at comedy school. We graduated together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was taught by the comedian Tim Lulis.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Big 4-4.
4-4. How's everything been going, man, since comedy school?
Man. I mean, that size like the sound of 2020 though, right? But even aside from 2020, that shit was real crazy last year. But I'll get into that later. That's like mad heavy. I'm not trying to just start off like that, but we can talk about that later. But aside from all that, 2020 was wait, you said the journey since then? I'm getting a little thrown off track here. All right. Ever since then, I did another stand-up set at Toast using the same material that I had made from those 2 months with comedy school. And then, I got to like refine some of the stuff that I did for the first set. And then, like trying to push myself and like write new material and stuff. And I've never really done that before. And it's funny you say I'm a member of Lemon Pepper Sazon. And it's like, technically right now, I'm just a featured player because I had to kind of pull back because I wasn't able to commit to the things that they were doing because they're mad active. You guys got to check them out, Lemon Pepper and Sazon. They're a huge comedy collective, like you were saying, the Wu-Tang of comedy, as far as in this area goes. And there are like 9 of them. But that's a group of comedians, actors, sketch comedians, improv, singers, from the ages of like early mid-20s all the way to Ms. Donna's what, 60?
Yeah.
And killing it, Ms. Donna. She's amazing. So but then getting back on stage like that, I started getting more into doing plays, which is how I got started in the first place with acting, doing theater. And so I got back to doing theater and was like, you know what, no, fuck it, I'm gonna recommit to making my future a life on stage or a life performing as an artist. Just like I'm just gonna recommit to being an artist. And I was like, all right, that means I have to move to New York, like I'd always planned to. And before I could move to New York, I got to be ready. And in order to be ready, I had a couple of things in my mind that I had to do. One was like, oh, I got to be able to carry, at least somewhat lead role in Shakespeare. I have to. I wanted to learn some stage combat. I wanted to see if I could carry a show as a lead in general. And I had to work real hard to accomplish these things because when I first tried getting back on stage, it was kind of humiliating. And for me, not actually humiliating. I was just like, damn, I didn't practice. Like it had been years and I just went in completely cold and bombed an audition that I just wasn't even mentally ready for. And it really pushed it in perspective of like, no, this shit took a lot of time and effort back then, and it has to every time. And that's fine because it's time and effort that I love putting in, and it's super rewarding. So
It is rewarding, man. Let's take back.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Let's go back to when we first met. Let's go back to 2019,
yeah.
Virginia Beach Funny Bone Comedy School. How was that experience for you, man?
Mind blowing. It was really cool to see so many people because they had so many that we had to get split up into 2 different classes, which was wild. But I think what the craziest experience was, like I didn't expect myself to be able to write material. Like he would give us assignments and I was like, I don't know. And then I suddenly started having opinions about things and started realizing that like I wasn't really often expressing them. And it kind of opened this whole thing in my mind of how I grew up doing stand up with my cousins. Like I had a whole bunch of goons that I grew up with. Basically, we'd always be talking mad shit to each other, bullying the fuck out of each other every weekend at Sunday school or whatever it was. But we were homies, so it was whatever. And we loved stand up comedy growing up. We loved watching it, whether it was Carlin or BET Comic View or, you know, Jim Carrey, Robin Williams, Eddie Murphy, like all these old school heads, like Richard Pryor. Dude, we just were addicted to comedy. We're always laughing, always being crazy. And I never really thought that how well that would translate into me having an affinity for it, but it's just more like I had so much experience on stage that being on stage was like in front of y'all was comfortable, but writing material was super nerve-wracking. Like I'd be sitting in front of a book for 3 hours looking at nothing, and then it's 3 a.m. and then I start writing, you know. But you know, it was cool with Tim's guidance, and I would call and text him sometimes, ask him about opinions on certain things, and he helped out with that outside of class. That is the only reason that things went the way they did, and that I was able to fall in love with the way I did. And we all kind of grew this little comedy school family, and people have been branching out. You're doing a podcast is amazing. Like and Lip's doing improv and acting and anyway, man. How about for you? Like, I want to know, like, aside from Utah.
Bro, I still do comedy. I still do comedy. I had right after comedy school, I was just like hitting the open mics. And I got real comfortable going to Kazi's like
Yeah.
every Thursday. And then I just branched. I can't keep going here. I got to try different rooms. So I was trying out different rooms. And then I will
Mm-hmm.
probably say I had one horrible open mic. Horrible.
What happened?
Where nothing went over. I got heckled. It was a church crowd. I got heckled.
You got heckled?
I got heckled. And the thing
I'm
was,
sorry.
she
I'm
had
sorry.
it's all right. The thing was, I had some other friends that graduated in comedy school after us, and we was going around and she was heckling them and us like every Monday we was at this thing. So the third week I just said, fuck it. I ain't go back to that mic. I took some time off. I got into the podcast and I was taking acting classes as well too before COVID hit.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
was trying to expand. I was trying to be on my Eddie Murphy shit, you know what I mean? And then
Mm-hmm.
I got the podcast. I had what, three friends we got into
Mm-hmm.
podcasting. So it was four of us
Right.
doing it. Lasted 2 episodes. I got my own podcast.
Right. I remember that. Yeah.
I lasted 2 episodes, got back into it. Started getting more into the open mics, and then I started getting to showcases. I had did with Miss Donna, we did the Zadis Theater Plan B, and then she was gonna
Yeah.
book me for Sunday's Funnies, and then I was gonna do one for Lionel Harris, and lo and behold, COVID snapped that shit away. Like I was submitting my videos off to NBC Unit Tips for their stand up. Um, I was sending them to a bunch of comedians. I
Mm-hmm.
did the old school way. I had put my shit on a flash drive and was mailing my stuff out to comedians and talent agencies. I heard back from one.
That's old new school, by the way. That ain't old school. That's old new school. You send a flash drive? Fuck out of here. You get anyway. Moving on.
Yeah, bro. I was on the grind. I was on the grind. I had took another job and got out of the bank just so I can do more open mics. And I've been doing Zoom shows here and
Did you
there.
have to drop that credit union joke though?
I still tell the credit union joke. I added on to the credit union joke. I added on to it. I was like, what did you say? I said, yeah, man, I already got a credit union, man. Shit's kind of depressing, especially when you approve people for shit that you can't get approved for. And that was an improv joke. Like I just told it off the whim off the top of the head one day with an open mic, and it just hit. So I just kept it. But I still tell the same, like I still have the same set, and then I have more
Right.
sets, and I just add on to it. So I
That's
mean,
how it should be. You're just writing jokes. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I still got the
It was true then, so like keep it. You know what I mean? I got some stuff that isn't relevant anymore. Yeah, I got my binder somewhere. Shit, I got this fucking notebook. I don't have that thing, but I got my comedy notebook somewhere. Anyway, it's around.
I mean, and I got, these all over the house, right? So you already know.
Yeah.
You still tell the joke about what was it? Like it was something about school.
Which one?
You had the
Say that
airport
again.
joke. You had the airport joke.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
And
one of my favorites. That's timeless.
that's timeless. And then was it rom com? I forgot. It's been 2 years.
Oh, that was about Bollywood. It was about like how it's like 17 genres in one movie and shit. But the real story with that joke was about my grandma and my aunt being pregnant at the same time.
Okay.
Because I have a huge family. I have a huge family. And like back in those days, my in Bangladesh, we were getting married mad young. They were having kids mad young.
Mm-hmm.
And so like my cousin, she's older than my mom, and her husband went to school with my dad. You feel me? Like she was her mom's firstborn, who was her mom's firstborn.
Okay.
But each of them had mad kids, and they kept having kids while, you know what I'm saying? So by the time that my aunt was at an age where she could have children and she was married, my grandma was still having kids. And so I have like, yeah, it's weird. I remember I was like 21 and my cousin became a grandma. So I was technically a grandfather. Like
I'm gonna have to
yeah,
like take a pen and
it's
paper
crazy.
and write that down, man. Like,
So the joke of that whole thing was about wondering what it would be like if, could you imagine getting pregnant at the same time as your mom, like at the same time as your parents, basically. But then also because here of our culture, you all live in the same house, so it's happening at the same time. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. I mean, that didn't really pull a lot left, but I'll leave it at that.
it's like that, man. So is theater and acting like your first love?
Yeah.
So how did you get
Um,
into that? Like, what made you get into that?
it happened. Actually, really, it started with Shakespeare, and it started when we would read it in English class, and everyone would we would have the book in the class or the scene or whatever it was, and we would all arrange our seats in a circle and take turns reading lines or whatever, to get through a scene. And like for whatever reason, whenever it came to me, like I literally couldn't imagine reading it any other way than like trying to perform it because it's Shakespeare. It's written that way, and I didn't think that was weird, but apparently that's not like the normal thing. It's not the common thing, uh, and but then years went on, and the school I was at, they predominantly did musicals, and I had no idea how to sing, so I never went on about it. And I was doing sports at the time, and I just didn't know that they also did theater at that school, like dramas and plays and whatnot. I thought they only do musicals. Then I changed high schools, and I again English class reading Shakespeare, and the teacher was like, "Why didn't you try out for the play this year?" And I was like, I don't know. I didn't think about it. And she was like, "Okay, if you don't audition next year for the play, then I'm not talking to you." And I'm like, "All right." So that was my senior year of high school that I did that play. So only 1 year of high school. And she was right. I fell in love with it instantly. But what it was about it is, how some people say like, "Oh, acting isn't it isn't what you say, it's how you say it." It's like that's some shallow nonsense. So um it I was taught that acting is literally being, and it came when our director basically sat us down and had us answer a bunch of questions about our character, like where are you from, what were your parents like, you know, do you have, were your siblings, you know, were you popular, cool friends, or were you nervous, anxious, like what kind of city you, all this random stuff that you realize isn't random, kind of makes up every kind of person. It was like all the stuff of the MySpace, you know, what was it, survey from back in the day. Um, but it changed. It made you change into a different person. And that's, I don't know, there was something about that. I don't know, I was made for it, I guess, and it was made for me. So we found each other that way. And by the way, that's how I got my nickname Toasty, because we were painting the set and we had a can of brown paint and it had a color grade scale for the shades of brown. And my skin tone was called Toasty.
Really?
So that's, and the nickname stuck. So um,
It's all good. I mean, I had a
now
nickname.
it's Toasty Toast. What?
I had a nickname in school. They called me Squidward. But I'm glad I grew out of that. You know what I mean? They called me Squidward. I'm glad I grew out of that, man. It took a while, but I grew out of it.
That's
So
a tough one to shake, man. That's a tough one. That's like Squidward isn't just some random word. It's motherfucking Squidward. But
Squidward,
um,
exactly. It's like theater. Are you looking to do film? Have you done film as well too?
oh yeah, yeah. Okay, so you want to know like about the shit of, okay, I feel you. All right, all right, all right. So I didn't really get into more theater until a couple years later at ODU when shit, that was back in 2005. Yeah, it was 2005. And I saw on a sign that they were like doing a play or whatever, and I signed up for an acting class because I was like, well, I mean, I need to learn more, you know. I'm a baby at this, and I want to get good at it. So uh, I went into an acting class, and then they told me about auditioning for that. And there was a few plays that they were auditioning for. One was Macbeth, and the other was, it was called Fairly Stupid Stories, but that was a play that this director was writing. And I got into the callback, but I didn't make it. I didn't get cast in Macbeth and or anything, and because they put the cast list up, you know, just like they do in like anyway. So I was like, well, I mean, I still want to learn some shit. Like, is there anything I can do? Like, I want to know, like, what did I do wrong? Like, not what did I do wrong? Like, how can I improve? It's my first audition, for real. And then they told me to go to the back theater, get some experience, like working crew in the backstage, right? And so I went to that small theater. It's called Stables Theater. It's an old historic ass theater at ODU, and it's a black box theater, which means the stage is on the floor and the seats are on three sides of the stage on like risers usually, and then like the backstage. Anyway, um, I told her what happened, the director, and she was like, "Hey, actually, I think I have a role for you in this play." And then I kind of got like wrapped up in all that because we were creating this piece of art together, and it was a wild cast of characters. Um, and I was officially hooked at that point, and then trying to get my hands onto every piece of theater I could in a short amount of time. But then here was the weird part: our culture, my parents, where they come from, they're all very smart, risk adverse people, and they took great pains and effort and risk to build their life the way they did, come here and do what they've done to establish themselves and give me and my siblings and my cousins, etc., the lives that we had. That being said, they're constantly terrified of me and my cousin. We're all a bunch of artists. A whole bunch of my cousins were like, my brother is a cinematographer. My cousin is a music video director. His brother is a music producer. Another cousin's a like we got. I could go on. I will later on, but it's not the point. But they're all terrified because um, you know, they want to make sure that we'll be able to take care of ourselves. And money isn't necessarily a thing guaranteed by art. We said, fuck it, we're going for it. So time though, when you're in your early 20s, you don't really have a say. And there's a lot of conflict with that, a lot of conflict with the family. And I didn't really know how to fight for myself and stand up for myself. Nor I didn't really understand how to communicate properly. A lot of stuff that I learned in my early 30s. So, and I'm still learning, constantly learning, never stop. And it took a while, and it took a lot of me trying their advice. Like, oh, okay, you think this isn't the way? I'll try it your way. Fine, we'll try that. And then I just ended up like hella depressed because I wasn't living for myself, and they saw that. And I had another passion, which is food. That's a real huge part of me. Like the other complete half of me. It's like performing and food. All right. I mean, there's still multiple segments of my life, but those are, I think, the two biggest ones. And I've been talking about having a restaurant for a long time. So then my family was like, hey, let's do the restaurant. So we're just gonna cut from 2013 straight to 2018. I did no theater during any of that time. What I did do is I got an agent for the first time. And I tried to be on camera and see what that was like because I had no experience on camera. It's a whole different thing. Like you see this little thing? Like I can't be moving on the stage like I normally would because I'll be out of the frame all the time. And I didn't understand how it was like so tight on my face, and my face looks crazy sometimes because I don't understand what my face is doing a lot of the time. And sorry, y'all, I didn't even make faces sometimes, but so that was a lot of lessons to learn there. And like auditioning process for that, like having headshots and like all this other shit ready. I was not an organized person, still not very organized. So like it's just hard. But if that's hard for you, um, no, for real, I did. Being out there as an actor, as a working actor, trying to get real work, trying to get paid to do your work. That's where it's at. But it's also where the pain and all the effort and all the frustration comes in for a lot of people. Um, so you got to be careful with what you invest in terms of, especially your expectations. Number one, be careful how you manage your expectations, but getting sidetracked. This isn't about giving advice on how to be a professional actor. This is about what I did. So I got an agent, Sylvia Hudson. I started getting gigs on, was it Discovery, the ID Discovery, because they had a couple couple production houses in like Hampton and elsewhere making these shows. So I was on FBI Criminal Pursuit for a couple episodes, playing different characters. I was on Wicked Attraction, which is generally about crimes of passion or crimes with lovers and that kind of stuff, where these are like dramatic reenactments of true events. That's what these are. So it's like that, like there's a voiceover of the real people being interviewed, documentary style, and then there's us like doing these little scenes reenacting wise, trying to bury a body in Portsmouth Cemetery. Anyway, with no lights. So, um, um, it was really cool, really informative, huge challenge. But what was wild was the turn of events in my life. So I got cast in Wicked Attraction to play the murderer. Yeah. And in the show, in that episode, this guy was some Indian kid, and my family's from Bangladesh, but South Asia, used to be part of India, all good. This Indian kid who got adopted, and his name was like Daniel or some shit. And he's living in Colorado, and he's a teenager, and he and his girlfriend, who had an abusive ass mom, like violently abusive, they plot to kill her. And he and his friends stabbed the shit out of her, and they fucking murder her. And when they try to like bury this woman, they didn't dig the hole deep enough, so they panic, throw her back in the trunk of the car, and then keep her in the detached garage, and then partied for 2 weeks with all their friends until some random person smelled the body. That's the true story. So I'm going to be playing this dude, right? And at the time, I am, well, there's a lot of scenes where I'm going to be making out with this woman, or there's a lot of presumption that we just had sex. And my culture is very conservative about that kind of stuff. And there's like no PDA. It's just one of those things. You watch Bollywood movies, try and find kisses. It's just not going to happen. I mean, I don't know about nowadays, anyone watch that shit, but growing up, you never saw any PDA. I've never seen my parents hold hands. I know they love each other very much. I've never seen them hug. I've seen pictures. They go on, you know what I'm saying? Like they're very private about that stuff. They're very affectionate with their kids and with everyone else. But when it comes to couples, people are very, very private about that stuff. So it was a really big deal that I was going to be on television doing this. This was finally revealed to them. It was the weekend shoot. And a couple of days before the shoot, I have to tell them like what the content is, and they freak out. And basically, we had a huge talk, and the compromise that I came to with my agent and with the casting director was that I would switch roles with another actor and play the friend. And I actually happened to look a lot like the murderer, and the other dude was like this light-skinned Turkish dude with brown hair, and like, you know, whatever, but like, you know, and that's fine. They made do, and I felt bad for the crew and whatever because that wasn't what they planned, and it really sucks because it was like a major event that I basically derailed because I didn't, you know, I don't know if I didn't stand my ground or if I was supporting my parents. I don't know, you know, and it's kind of both, and that really derailed shit because I basically told my agent that I wouldn't be able to do romantic scenes out of respect for my family. Um, and you know, and she understood and she respected that, and it was fine. But like, you know, when it comes to people trying to cast you, they're like, "Wait, you can't do what?" All right. So then that's when I got into the restaurant industry. Did the Bangladeshi restaurant with my family, and then I left that in 2017. And then decided at the end of that year that I would get back to performing. So then I started, in that meantime, I had done improv at Push Comedy Theater. I'd done some classes. There are some old friends who opened this amazing comedy theater in Norfolk, in the Neon District. Go check them out. Take some classes, all kinds of things. Musical improv, stand-up, sketch comedy. Shit's not happening. I don't even know anymore. I forgot what COVID did to the world. Um, through all that acting stuff, I did the Shakespeare thing. I was in Macbeth. I did stage combat. I got to swing a fucking sword on stage, and it was tight. And I got to smash a dude's head in with a rock and splatter blood everywhere. It was sick. And then I got cast in this incredible play called Constellations, where it covers this couple, their relationship, but every single scene is a different version, like a different universe, basically a different reality of these two people. So like in one they're dating, in one they're dating other people, in one's cheating on each other, in one, you know, etc. All right. And the person I got cast in this show with is Tiffany, who is now my wife. That's how we met. Well, we met at Push Comedy Theater, but that's how we really got to be friends, and we became instant homies, and then fell in love. And there was a whole bunch of stuff that went. I mean, like anything else, well, life's crazy, man. But yeah, that was the end of 20. That was a year ago, actually, that we closed. We'd be closing that play, Constellations. Yeah.
You know, it's crazy, bro. We kind of got a little bit similar. It's outside of the theater. I can't I haven't tried theater yet. 2012.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't got into it. 2012, I got diagnosed with depression and insomnia. It's very bad. May sleep like 2, 3
Yeah.
hours. I may wake up in the
Oh
middle
my
of the
God.
night. Yeah, it's bad. Uh, I started working out to clear my mind. It helped out a little bit. 2014, I break up with my girlfriend. It's a joke about it now. We're on and off for all these years. Get engaged in May. We break it off in June of 2014. 2018,
Jesus, dude.
I lost my uncle. He was very close to my uncle, OG. So
I'm
one
sorry.
night, my mom was gonna go to the Funny Bone to go see Godfrey. My mom and my dad was gonna go on New Year's Eve to go see Godfrey. Matter of fact, let me even rewind this. And from 2014 to 2019, I tried to franchise everything in the books. 7-Elevens, French Fry Heavens, sneaker stores, FedEx packages. I tried to flip house. I tried to do a bunch of shit that I knew nothing about, but I've always been funny. Go to 20. I've
Fuck
always
you.
been fucking funny. I've always been fucking funny. And I kept saying, like, I'm funny. Like, I was a class clown. I'm the guy at work that's always making people laugh. I was just doing stupid shit. Roasting
Right.
all day. 2018, Uncle passes away. New Year's Eve, I go to the Funny Bone to go see Godfrey. I go with this female. We was gonna go to Newport News to go see Kevin.
No, you went with a woman. You mean you went with a female person or a woman?
A woman. I go with a woman. Who we don't talk no more. She friend zoned the shit out of me. But that's because of the comedy took over. I don't know. I got
That's a whole different
reaction.
conversation, bro. That's a whole different conversation. But
Yeah,
we'll
that's a
talk
whole
later
different
about that.
conversation.
Maybe a whole different episode about that.
You know what? We will be.
I'm gonna need a cold 30 on that one.
So we got down. I go to see Godfrey, and I just walked past the comedy school starting the next year. What comedy school? I go to the first class, the introduction class. I'm nervous as shit. I take my pops with me because my friend she dropped out at the last. And I take my pops with me. He goes, "Man, you gonna go?" I was like, He said, "Just
Oh,
go."
you mean that one where there was like mad, like all of us that one night,
The
like
whole
just the orientation.
the orientation.
Yeah, that was okay. Your pops was there. That's right. All right.
Yeah, nervous as shit. I'm 30 years old. I'm going with my father to go to this comedy school. I'm a grown ass man. Go to the comedy school. And then, of course, they split the classes up. We go to the
Right.
first class. I'm like, this, I don't think this is going to work.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, in my opinion, was a lot of people gave up. Didn't give up. They just did it as a bucket list, got public speaking. But it was some funny people in there. If I can remember your jokes, I think you're hilarious. It was you, myself, Adrian, Jonathan, Corey. We didn't have no females in that class. Now that I think about it.
Dude, you did have some women in your class. Which one were you? Were you in mine or
Both
the?
yours.
Right. We had shit. Oh no. I'm tripping. It was Corey's mom who was there with us. That's why in my mind I thought that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We go to comedy school. You know that first time we went to Kazi's,
Yeah.
where I damn near shitted on myself that night. I kept going to the bathroom pissing. I got a ride. Me and Adrian rolled up there with each other because I'm nervous as a bitch. Like, and I'm FaceTime my mother and father. Like, I'm so nervous. And I was like, all right. So lo and behold, they call me up there first. I go perform. I see everybody perform. Like, shit, we're all nervous anyway. They already know we're first timers. We perform. Then we get to the simulation. What was the simulation that you had when we did?
Cat calls. Like the women, like, yeah.
How was that?
Because wait, no. I'm making that face because Tim Louis was a hilarious asshole about this. We had the women of Lemon Pepper Sazon there, and so he intentionally had my friends in the group. So like I'm talking about Carmen. I mean, like all of them, like had all of them up at those tables. Oh, wait, was it the? Oh no. I'm getting two things mixed up. I was getting everything I said is correct. Everything I said is as it was. And just got them to start like talking over my set, basically. Talking to me over my set. What was your distraction?
Silence.
Oh, that's right. I felt so bad. I was one of those people in the Tim was like, I know you're in this class with them, but like, yo, man, you need to. So we had, it was a pain in my heart to do that to you, but it didn't at the same time. It was a simulation, bro.
Damn. Yeah, when they was calling us up, it was like, oh, Enver. And they said, Jerome, it was like calling us all. I was like, first thing I said, shit, what did I get? And they gave a fucking silent treatment. And I'm sitting up there just crickets. And somebody set the alarm on their cell phone to go off in the middle of my set. I think it was Sebastian. But man, that shit was so fucking brutal. It was so brutal. It was so brutal to see y'all.
I think I laid my head on the table. I think I like closed my eyes. It was real peaceful, that silence.
It was so fucking horrible. You have to keep going. I said, can they get me out of here any quicker? And that shit actually happened to me with the heckler. After she heckled me and I went in on her, I got nothing but silence. But hey. So
hey man, look, you swung and you hit a landmine, but
so Enver, right? You've always been honing your skills. You know, I check you out on Facebook and Instagram now that I know how to work the shit. I'm gonna ask this question. I always ask everybody this question, right? Top 5 comedians dead or alive in any order with a starting 6-man.
With the starting what?
6-man. Somebody coming off the bench.
Dave Chappelle, Louis C.K., George Carlin. You're fucked up, man. I gotta ask this question. All right. Robin Williams.
Okay.
We're doing favorites or best?
Favorites.
All right, that's 4 anyway, right?
Yeah.
And then, damn, fucking shit. Why would you do this to me, man? Chris Rock. Okay. And then, oh man, Eddie Murphy. Fuck. Damn it. The problem is I can't. All right, yeah. Let's just do Eddie Murphy and then Chris Rock as I couldn't disgrace him, put him on the bench. No, man. Yeah, whatever, he's there, whatever. And if there's a second opener, then it better be Russell Peters. But yeah, he's amazing. At least that one set, that big famous one. If you haven't seen that shit, watch it in Toronto.
I'm glad I got you on the show. One of my favorite comedians actually did last season for me. He blessed me with last season, Nori Davis. And on this season, I have a legendary comedian who I am not going to reveal. And I also have a legendary writer who I can't reveal. But when that set list comes out, just know, Enver, you're on that list with them.
What?
You're on that list with them. So what I'm gonna say is, I'm not a big fan of the big comedians. I like the ones that like the underdogs, like Tony Woods.
See, like I want to make 2 lists in my head when you ask me that question, for that exact reason, dude. For that exact reason, because like there's there's a different thing from making HBO specials, like a different crap, or like selling out Madison Square Garden for like and then there's like the 10-minute Mitch Hedberg shit. That's just pure gold for like or there's like Damon Wayans, Bill Bellamy, fucking I mean Mr. Cooper, Mark, whatever his fucking name is. I can't remember right this second. I'm sorry. I mean, too many. Tommy Davidson, every person on In Living Color. Like I grew up with that shit. And anyway,
You're right though, but there's a difference though from the Netflix and the HBO specials to the ones that's actually putting out.
Daniel Tosh, I fuck with Daniel Tosh's stand up. It's brilliant.
Hey, you get a lot of people like that though, man. And I start naming these people, and they be like, who? Like the only big name comedian that I can say legit that I love and follow is Jerry Seinfeld.
Do you watch comedians in cars having coffee?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, but he's great. His stand up is sick.
If you get a chance, man, check out his movie Comedian. It came out in 2002.
Okay, I'll check it out.
And how organized he is from all his jokes has been 40 years. That's why I got the legal pad. That's why because he's a fucking genius. Michael Collier is a favorite comedian. If you guys don't know who he is, Def Comedy Jam, BET Comic View, Live from LA, author now, actor, and he honed me with an actual interview on this podcast. Diallo Riddle, you guys haven't seen Sherman Showcase on IFC, I interviewed him. Uh, Katie Kaboom, if you guys don't remember from Cedar's World, I interviewed him. I actually have an episode coming out because March 5th, it's going to be the first episode. So if you guys are tuning in, it's already out. We're talking about kink. So this podcast is about the culture, is about the content, is about the journeys, it's about the obstacles, it's about the journeys, right? That's why it's called No ID because I don't have a specific topic. I promised Enver to get on the episode last season, but I just overbooked myself. So I said,
it's all good.
Yeah, I had to get my.
I wouldn't have been available anyway.
Yeah, so yeah. I got you up here, bro. I'm blessed to have you up here. I'm blessed to have
an interview. Hey, I'm blessed to be here. Thank you for this. Thank you for good shit though. Just in general, like all hard work you are perseverance when I see you. It's like I saw you in class that you did nothing but persevere and you kept trying your ass off. So that's just how you do it, man. Like Gary Vee says, like fail your ass off.
That's it. If anybody wants to follow you, where do they follow you at? Like your content?
Yeah. Oh, it's at Toasty Toast with 3 O's.
3 O's.
Toasty Toast.
I'll make sure I put it in the description below. You can follow the show No ID Vibes on Instagram. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at RomeDavis89. I do apologize for those. I had to change my name because for whatever reason I keep getting these goddamn bots telling me I can flip Forex. I don't know. It's a bunch of stupid shit that I keep getting in my followers. But I guess the more
you're gonna get more just for talking about it.
I think the more hashtags I use, the more crazy shit I get. But is there any last thing that you want to say to those that's trying to break into the industry or they've listened to your story? Like any words of encouragement, words of advice?
Yeah, man. I think like I'm trying not to oversimplify this because it is hard, but it is only worth it if it's actually what you want. And if it's actually what you want, don't ever let anyone else convince you to do something else instead. And I'm not saying don't do anything else instead. I'm saying if you are, it's because you want to. That's like one of those make sure you paying the bills kind of thing if you're trying to be an artist. That's like my way of saying that. All right. Because one time someone who was a professional artist, they were like, I'm having writer's block. I'm getting off case here, man. No. I'm gonna rewind. The point is, all right, man. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself and don't try to be someone impressive. Don't try to be someone that you think people will like. Don't try to find out who to be. Like, don't waste any time on what other people think in that regard. Only think about how you judge yourself. All right. First, do that. And when you're honest with yourself, you're just gonna naturally. I'm about to get into a whole bunch of vibrational shit, and it's a bunch of metaphysical stuff, and I'm trying to avoid it. That's why I'm acting all weird and I'm looking all crazy, like, because it's a huge conversation. Um, um, set boundaries for yourself, and that means, man, this is like you're asking me big ass questions at the very end, man. It's too late for this shit. I'm sorry. Okay, my one real piece of advice: get good. All right. Be humble. You're not competing with anyone. The reason I was saying be honest with yourself, when you are, then the right things will find you. If you're like, I want to try and be this kind of a performer because that's what makes money, it might not find you in the most genuine way. And if it finds you, then you might not get the results you're looking for because you're probably trying to fill a void instead of following a genuine aspiration. So make sure you're not just trying to get validation from anyone, and make sure that what you're doing, if it's art, that is because you have nothing but the compulsion to create and not because you want to be adored or revered. Because if your output is your ego, art can't live on that. It's practically mutually exclusive. Now we get a lot of blending of that, and then money comes into play, and it confuses a lot of people because people think money is success. But then you have all these millionaires, successful ass people wasting away, literally killing themselves, ruining their lives, whatever the case may be. They're not happy. Why? So make sure you know why it is you're doing what you're doing.
I totally agree. Just to add on to it, the fame comes before the money. And when you're breaking into the industry, trying to be a comedian, an actor, podcast, or whatever, you are considered into a passion project. Don't ever lose your passion for this shit. Don't ever lose your passion. Always persevere. Don't give up. And be honest with you, fuck what everybody else's thinks. Go for it. Somebody says, "Oh man, you're not gonna do it. You're not gonna make it." Fuck them. They didn't try it. Go for it. Shit, fuck it. You know what I mean? You're gonna get a lot more no's than you're gonna get yes. Trust me. You're gonna get a lot more
Oh,
yeses.
one last thing for all my people out there who are 2021's off to a good start. They cast a brown man as Jesus. Finally. Hence the I'm growing out my hair in this situation, which I'm not really used to, but it's whatever, yeah. But yeah.
What?
Anyway, I just thought that was
This is an exclusive you just dropped.
yeah.
You got to add more onto that, bro. I'm sorry.
It's a short film of a dramatic reading for the passion play, like of the passion play, for the church for a church in Hampton Roads. They're doing a short film for Easter. So.
All right. I'm glad. I'm always down to support.
Yeah.
Let me know if there's a screening, if I can watch it, or whatever the case may have you, man.
Yeah.
I'm always down to support.
I got a few things coming up that'll announce when they're ready to be announced and whatnot, but I'll keep you up on that. Yeah.
Man, appreciate you, brother. Much love.
Appreciate you, man. Much love. Take it easy, bro.
You too.